So, all right, holiday arguments. We put up this video about how to avoid a holiday argument, a Thanksgiving argument, which I then completely ignored. But I just want to play it for you so you'll know what I wasn't doing. Here's me with my tips on how to avoid Thanksgiving arguments.
Hey, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you're all gathered with people you love and eating lots of stuff you love. I'm a person who holds passionate political opinions, and like all people who hold those opinions, I pride myself on being able to avoid arguments with friends and relatives over the holidays, and then wind up getting so angry at them I just want to grab them by the scruff of their liberal necks and force their stupid left-wing faces into the cranberry sauce over and over and over again until they finally admit that Barack Obama was the most corrupt, incompetent communist ever to hold office outside of North Korea. That's something you generally want to avoid. So today, I'd like to present my 3 easy tips on how not to get into political arguments over Thanksgiving dinner. Tip number 1, try to stick to neutral subjects. For instance, if your Uncle Joe is into sports, you might say something like, hey, how about those Los Angeles Rams? They're doing well. And just try not to mention the football players who are disrespecting the flag that brave men died for, because it'll make you want to grab Uncle Joe by the shirt front and force stuffing down his throat until it comes out of his stupid leftist ears. That's probably not your best course of action. Tip number 2, if you must discuss politics, discuss principles, not people. If, for instance, tax cuts come up, you can talk about how you support lower taxes because they improve the economy and lead to greater freedom. Whereas if you let Cousin Fred go off on a tangent about how Donald Trump hasn't released his tax returns, you might be tempted to respond that at least Donald Trump hasn't corrupted the entire IRS in order to silence his political enemies the way that corrupt dirtbag Obama did, because even thinking about that will make you want to rip a leg off the turkey and pound your stupid Cousin Fred over the stupid head until he looks as stupid as he actually is stupid. That might make some of your guests uncomfortable. Finally, tip number 3, always try to listen to what people are saying and hear them out. If your kid's sister, Sue, starts saying something ridiculous about how pro-life Christians are more dangerous to America than Islamic terrorists, don't just start screaming insults at her or pick up the pumpkin pie and smash it into her self-satisfied leftist face the way you've wanted to do ever since she was born and your mom didn't have enough time for you anymore. Instead, say something like, I think I see what you're getting at, but you're still an idiot. Please pass the pumpkin pie, you fat-faced punk. Maybe you don't want to use those exact words. But if you follow these simple tips, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to have a joyous Thanksgiving holiday with your beloved friends and relatives, even if they are a pack of leftist morons who really deserve to have hot yams poured over their heads until they admit their stupid philosophy has practically ruined the country. Yams. I'm Andrew Klavan, wishing happy Thanksgiving from all of us at the Daily Wire to you and your idiot leftist relative.
So that didn't work too well for me. Those tips didn't work that well for me. But, you know, we gathered together at my house with all these people that I actually do love and respect and admire, but they're liberals. I mean, they're fatal. We all have flaws, right? You know, mine is I pull the wings off flies. Theirs is that they're liberals. And so immediately we all gathered, mostly the guys went outside because the women are actually doing all the work. So the guys are sitting outside, out of the way, getting out of the way. That is our job. And we immediately got into politics. And immediately they started saying Donald Trump is destroying the country. Not I don't like what he's doing, I disagree, but Donald Trump is destroying the country. So I thought to myself, well, this is not going to go well, you know, because I think like I'm going to now say, well, what about Obama for 8 years? And what about this and that? You know, and you guys didn't say anything when Obama did this. And I said, you know what, let's do it this way. I said, I won't use whataboutism. I won't bring up what Obama did. And we won't argue about things that we're never going to agree on because they want the EPA to save the planet. I want the EPA to cease to exist. I want the EPA to be a little pack of rubble with a sign, a hand-lettered sign on top that says, here used to be the EPA. That would be my favorite EPA, okay? So I said we're never going to agree. And I'm not going to resort to what about Hillary Clinton, what about Obama, and they kept saying, well, you know, Hillary Clinton didn't win. And I thought, yeah, but you voted for the crook, you know? So like, whither comest this, like, you know, sanctimonious moral superiority? Didn't say it, just stayed back. I said, let's not talk about who started anything. I said, just tell me what Trump has done that violates constitutional rule of law and the norms of American governance. That's all. That's all I want. That's what I will listen to. Nothing. They could not come up with a single thing, but they all said something that I don't like about Donald Trump, that he's rude, you know, that he keeps saying these things, and he's threatening the First Amendment by attacking CNN, you know, and CNN thinks the same thing. But what I started to think about what the fact that we're sitting there, all these people who really do like each other, and we're all very friendly, and we all get along, and we talk about all kinds of things in a very friendly way. But at base, we all agree on certain things. And this is what I started to think about, that I've talked before about how decadence is good for the elites. Why is decadence good for elites? Well, decadence is good for elites because elites have most of them have internalized certain rules of life. Elites don't have children out of wedlock for the most part. Elites treat each other with respect and politeness. Elites have certain respect for tradition. Elites are the people who go to church. Elites work hard. They do all these things. And so they come to believe in what we'll call independent morality. They come to believe in the morality of individualism. So that's me. I'm an elite. I say this all the time. It's like I like the people, but I am an elite. I grew up elite. I've lived an elite life. I've been an artist all my life. I live among elites. I live a very conservative life. And so if the guy next to me, and everybody around me lives a conservative life, and so if one guy next to me lives a kooky life because he's an artist, I think, like, that's fine. That's not going to hurt anybody. But if you live in a chaotic situation, if you live in a chaotic, poor neighborhood where men don't marry the women they impregnate, where children don't have fathers, where the rules aren't being set, where the schools have been taken over by leftists, so they're teaching them, you know, teaching boys how to put on makeup instead of how to, read and write, then you need rules. You need rules. And so you have two kinds of morality. You have rules morality and you have individual morality. And obviously, either one can be taken to an extreme. If you have too much rules morality, you have tyranny. If you have too much individual morality, you have chaos, right? But they're very different. They come from very different places. So what you have now is you have elites living out their individualistic morality, but afraid to preach rules morality for fear of seeming judgmental and tyrannical and not serving the poor. And